perpetrated in major metropolitan areas or anywhere in the United States, to terrorism expert Bridgette Gabriel on how you go about doing that. Bridgette, you just say vigilance is one thing, but explain what that means. If you're in New York and when they talk to, detective was saying if you see something, say something, but there are other things you can be doing, like what?
Exactly. Well, for starters, don't be looking down on your cell phone. Be aware of your surroundings. If you live in major cities, Neil, as you can see, people walk around looking at their cell phones instead of paying attention to their surrounding. We are now, obviously, with somebody trying to either detonate a suicide bomb, like the example today, or hiding a knife or a machete, maybe to stab people. Somebody like that will be dressed in an oversized jacket. If you see somebody wearing an oversized jacket with maybe wires hanging down from the jacket, that's a warning sign. Men who wear a suicide belt usually sit upright. They sit straight, rigid, because of the suicide belt. If you see somebody sitting in such area, very differently than an unusual and the people who are sitting around him, that's something to monitor. People who have a clutched fist, for example, along with all the other signs that I just mentioned, he may be holding a detonating device. Be careful of your surrounding. Call the authorities. If you see somebody looking at people suspiciously, as if trying to see if somebody is watching, that's someone to report. This becomes also important, Neil, especially for people who live in warm climate areas like Arizona, California, Florida. If you see somebody dressed in a clothing that is not that is not fitting for the climate at the time, such a coat in a warm place, this is something to pay attention to. For more tips like this, I encourage people to go to our website, actforamerica.org. We have our campaign, Open Eyes Save Lives campaign, hashtag Open Eyes Save Lives. For more tips, even a phone number provided by the government and an email address where you can send your tips anonymously so you can save your community.
So much we don't know still about Akiad behind these attacks. We do know he was a U.S. resident, that he had last visited Bangladesh back in September, but back there he had no criminal record, nothing to telegraph this. Now, we did hear prior, and this is prior to the holiday season, talk of a lot of chatter on the part of groups that were planning to do something, particularly in New York City, but little else to go on. So what are authorities to do with that?
Well, again, this is where being able to monitor somebody's social media and this is where also the citizenry plays an important role. Our FBI agents and first responders are doing everything they can, monitoring every person and every tip. But then it's up to us citizens to also report. If your neighbor all of a sudden started acting suspiciously, saying words of anger or wanting to kill people, if on their social media started posting violent videos or giving any reference to jihadis, for example. These are things to pay attention to report. They mentioned in Bangladesh he didn't have any criminal record. Remember, this is Bangladesh we're talking about. It's not like America where you have everything computerized and, your insurance company reports to the major data system if you even got a traffic violation. It doesn't work the same thing in Bangladesh, neither in Lebanon. Listen, I was born and raised in Lebanon. I can tell you it's a joke to get a background check on anybody coming from these types of countries. Things are changing very much. The internet today has become the new theater of war. You have ISIS armies worldwide. They do not belong to a geographical location. They are spread worldwide. Those people who identify with the ideology, whether they are an ISIS card holder or an Al-Qaeda holder, again, they don't hold cards. They identify with the ideology. There are many of them under different names around the world. They are here in the United States. It's up to us as citizens. Again, do not be afraid if you suspect something to call the authorities. Do not say to yourself, well, I cannot judge others. Maybe I'm being too insensitive, or maybe I'm acting like a bigot. Get these thoughts out of your mind. This is the time where we need to start profiling based on behavior and mannerism. Not on background, but behavior and mannerism. And you need to start saying something. See something, say something.
Thank you, Bridgette. Very good words there. They can be repeated enough and can't be repeated.